Hello, and welcome to the podcast Fly with Mel. If you're an overthinker, a high performer, or simply someone trying to understand yourself better, you are in the right place. Here, we talk about mindset, change of environment, self-love, relationships, and all the real-life messiness that comes with becoming who you are and who you want to be. If you're ready to transform your life, understand yourself on a deeper level, and finally break old patterns, sit tight. I'm Mel, a certified life coach and NLP Master Practitioner, and I use this platform to share self-reflections and conversations with the people I meet along the way. Because I truly believe that everyone you meet has something to teach you. So take a seat and enjoy the flight. Do you struggle asking for help? Do you think you're always the strong one in the group? Well, this podcast today is really about that topic that I love because I've been there myself. Why being strong all the time is really exhausting your nervous system. In our society, we really praise being strong, being independent, resilient, being the one who holds everything together. But no one really talks about the cost of being strong all the time, especially what it does to your nervous system. Because at some point, strength without safety turns into survival. And sometimes we don't really realize the impact it has on the long term, not only on your body and mind, but just on your life overall. So when I talk about survival mode, I'm not talking about something extreme or dramatic. I'm talking about the everyday patterns that look normal to you, but also feel heavy. Like if you're overthinking everything before you act, if you say yes when you want to say no, or when you're being the one everyone relies on, but never feel truly supported yourself. When you're struggling to relax without any guilt, you constantly want to perform, to be productive, to hold your time. When you're holding tightly onto money, time, or control because letting go feels unsafe. So if any of these that I just described feel familiar to you, it's not because something is wrong with you. It's because your nervous system learned that being strong was the safest option for you in your life to survive. So I want to share a bit of my story, especially because I've been coaching people after starting to understand all those patterns that I had. I didn't even know it was patterns. All those automatic mechanisms that I had in my mind whenever I would act, or the fact that I was constantly ruminating my thought, overthinking before acting and taking any decision, being scared about all the consequences that could happen if I would spend a little bit of money here or there. Like I was constantly in this stress mode, which is, kind of like, it's survival mode. It is survival mode. And sometimes autopilot, doing things just because you have to do the things, being really task oriented and just like do. Always wanted to be productive, always wanted to perform because I thought it was the safest way to live. It was the best way to live. I thought if I had control, that was the best way for me to just make sure that I wouldn't bear any bad consequences. And for a long time, I didn't even realize I was in that survival mode. It really just felt normal to me. I had to grow up very fast. And it's true that I don't talk a lot about my past, but like in many families, life didn't go exactly as planned. And at a very young age, I felt this internal responsibility to be strong, to help, to not be a burden, to be present for some family members. And when you're a child, and when you see the people you love struggling so hard in front of you, day and night, you start believing that you have to help. You start believing that you have to step in, that you have to hold things together too. And you cannot really just let the pain enter into just them only, right? Like when you see your parents struggling and you see the pain and the tears, and I couldn't just watch it and say or do nothing. I really felt that I had to step in, and I was only 8 years old. But that's really when, I started to put what I like to call my survival cape, and I had to really become resilient extremely early. It's like almost becoming an adult too soon. That's how I see it now when I reflect on it. But when you're in that childhood time and when you grow up as a teenager, you don't realize all that because that's the only thing that you know. That's the only life and childhood I know, right? So that's what life was giving me, and that's what I wanted to deal with. So I just dealt with it the way I could. And that whole mindset about being resilient, having to step in and hold things together and help others, and like really wipe out the pain from other people around me, that mindset followed me into other areas of life too. For example, with money, with love, with all the areas that were really not stable, I should say. It's just, for example, growing up with financial instability, money really became associated with scarcity and control for me. It was like I had to always make sure I would have enough money to be comfortable, or to at least not have to ask for any help from others, because I saw my family struggling with that. I didn't want to get into that same loop. So I would keep in mind to always make sure I would have enough money to not have to struggle the same way they did. And that become a full different mindset in your own mind. Like I really learned to hold on very tightly onto money. I really learned to stay alert, to always prepare for the what if and the consequences, the illusional consequences, because it's like consequences that only existed in my head. But because I saw that from a very young age in my parents' eyes, and I saw the struggle and I felt the pain with them, that's something that I always promised myself, that I would never, ever want to be in that situation again for myself. And also it was a lot of what if tomorrow I needed to help my family again, what if? And so you start to put on you some pressure that nobody asked you to put and to wear, but you put it, let's say, subconsciously. And that's exactly what happened for me. I was like, okay, from now on, I need to help them. I need to help my family. Whatever I make, whatever money I make, I will give it to them. Whenever they would need help, I would give it to them. Or I would make money, but I would not spend it, because what if tomorrow my family needs it? So I would always have some savings, but I would not even enjoy these savings and enjoy the money myself, because I would always keep in mind, what if tomorrow they need it? And that's, when you grow up with that, that's like a financial stress that is completely blocking any abundance, first of all, but also completely blocking you from enjoying what you're working so hard. I was working so hard at so many different jobs to make money, but I was not even enjoying the money I was making. It was really the idea of like, okay, you make money for the what if. So there was no in between. There was no like, live your life in between and enjoy it with whatever you're making, because that's what money is for, right? No, it was always like, okay, you make money just for the what if and the consequences. And when you live like that, you often become really the strong one of the group, the independent one, the one who never asks for help, the one who proves that she or he can do everything alone. And so for a very extremely long time, that person, that was me. And I know that many of you who are listening right now can definitely see themselves too in this pattern and in this behavior and this identity, because it's really an identity. It's really, you put yourself into that identity mode where you think that you are the strong one, you are independent, you will have your own back, and you will also have the back of some other people. Like, you make that promises to yourself that you will never put yourself in the similar situation or similar pain that you may have had in the past and felt. But so instead of living your life confidently and thinking, that's fine, I've been through that pain, I know that I can definitely come back stronger from it, or from any other pain, and that pain didn't destroy me, I can just live my life confidently and enjoy. Instead of thinking like that, what I was doing, and what most of people do, is like, I really put myself in like survival mode, and I was fighting against life instead of just being confident with it, roll with it, and enjoy it. So yeah, that was really that. I really want to talk about what being strong does to the nervous system, because we don't talk about that enough. And that's something that I discovered myself through researches, through studies, through my coaching. Like, being strong all the time keeps your nervous system in a constant state of alert. And you're always anticipating, you're always controlling, managing, you're holding space for others, you're fixing everything. It's really like, I see that really as like controlling your life all the time. Even when nothing is wrong, your body stays on guard. Like it's always on alert. You always think about the next thing. And you always like know that, it's like all the worst case scenario, you have them all covered. Like for whatever decision you make, you know already like what you would do if the worst case scenario would happen. It's just like you overthink everything. And anyway, that whole survival mode, it's really your system internally that is saying, stay useful, stay in control, stay ready for anything that could be thrown your way. You are ready because you're in control. The issue isn't strength. The issue is when strength becomes the only way you know how to feel safe. Survival mode doesn't always look dramatic, okay? Often it looks like very functional. It shows up like, as I said before, as overthinking every decision, as people pleasing to avoid any conflict. It can also look like overworking to feel valuable to your work, to your company, to your colleague. You're like overworking. Some people say to me, I'm workaholic. Yeah, why? Because I like it. Yeah, why? Because I feel that I bring value. Yeah, what happened if you stop bringing value? Well, I feel that maybe people won't love me anymore. And that's the deeper thing, Survival mode is also linked to that thing about feeling loved, feeling seen, feeling heard. Because, for example, if I talk about just my personal experience, I know that it was part of that. I had some traumas in my childhood where I thought that if I would start to really be loved, I would have to overdo things. If I wanted to be seen and heard, I would have to overdo things. I would have to really constantly prove my worth and my value because I've been through harsh trauma, such as abandoned, and such as very important people who were not here when I needed them the most. And I was a kid at that time. So when you see that from a very young age, that's where you start to grow that mindset of like, okay, I know that I cannot count on these people who were very important. So from now on, I will never, ever let myself down. And I will make sure that I will always keep myself like, in a good, I will always have my own back if you want. And not count on anybody else. And that's why you start to think that you don't need anybody else's help and you don't want anybody else's help as well. You don't want it, you don't need it, and you don't even want to show other people that you may be weak, and that's why you don't want to show them that you need help. If you see what I mean, that's a whole loop. Because really, when you live this way for so long as well, it feels kind of normal. So you grow up as an adult and you keep doing these same things of not asking for help, not showing some emotions, showing that you're always strong, independent. You've got this. You can overdo things, you can overwork, you can overperform because you are the one who, you are strong, It feels so normal to you. You don't realize that you're surviving. You really think that it's just who you are. Like at some point, even me, I really thought, oh no, that's just me. I've always been like that. That's me. I work, I overwork, I overdo. I always like, I was people pleasing so much in my teenage years, and I used to be always the nice one who would never say no. And I thought it was me. Oh yeah, I'm always the nice one. I'm always the nice girl. Oh, Mel, she's so nice. She's always nice. And I really thought it was just me, my identity. But an identity can be changed at any time. And I didn't know that it was an identity I crafted myself based on the things I went through when I was younger. Nobody told me that I could change that. Nobody told me that because of this survival mode mindset, I was sabotaging myself and my life in some areas. Again, such as in areas of abundance, money, love, work, finding something that you really want, fulfilling some dreams. I wouldn't even think about going and fulfilling my dreams because I was just going and fulfilling the things that would bring me safety. That was it. This job is gonna bring me safety. Done. I'm gonna take it. I didn't even think about, do I like it? Will I find fulfillment, enjoyment, purpose? No. Nothing, no decision was made based on that. For me, it was about bringing security, safety, and making sure I stay away from the pain of being unstable financially, for example. Yeah, it was really about that. There is one thing we don't talk about enough either. It's the loneliness of the strong one pattern. Like one of the most painful parts of being the strong one is how lonely it can feel. And people assume that you're fine, behind your guard. People around you will think that, oh, she's the strong, independent person. That's fine. She's always fine. She's always fine. She's always fine. She's always fine. I've heard that in the past when I was younger. Mel, she's always fine. She'll be fine. And you start to even be happy with that identity as well. It's like, oh yeah, I like when people think that I'm always fine. But internally, you have an internal battle. An internal battle because it feels lonely at times. People assume that you're fine, that you don't need support, that you're good, that it's all handled. So you decide to carry everything quietly. Yes, you're capable of a lot of things, but you're unseen. You're reliable, but you're disconnected at the same time from the world. And your nervous system feels that isolation too. Without you realizing it, your nervous system feels that you are lonely because being strong without any support slowly will drain your energy, and you know it. I know that you know it. I know that when I'm saying those words, you feel it and you know it. How many times did you find yourself sitting at the end of the day alone with yourself, feeling lonely, feeling that yes, you've accomplished many, many things. Yes, you are strong. Yes, you are capable. Yes, but here you are alone because you never asked for help, because you never show that you had some vulnerability, because you never wanted to share your doubt, your things. And because of that, people around think that you're fine. So they don't always check on you. They don't even ask you if you're okay because you show them that you're always okay. So they don't come to you. And then for the overachievers, for example, because you overachieve and you overperform, the world around you sometimes think that this is so normal to you, they don't even need to praise you. They don't even need to tell you, oh, that's wow, like you're so, so good. Like, sometimes they can be either jealous because they're like tired of seeing you overperforming and they're just tired because you trigger them too. It's the other way around. Like by watching you overperform and overdo, they will think, oh my God, like I can't anymore. That person is crazy overdoing things all the time. And I feel like I'm so lazy when I compare myself to that person. Anyway, I don't want to digress, but it's either they would feel jealous or they would think, oh, but she's so used to whatever she's doing, like it is so normal for her to win. I don't even need to tell her that's amazing because she's just used to it, so all of that, and the fact that you feel lonely at times, which is often, usually, like it's really often. And I don't want to generalize, like everyone is different, but in my case, I felt lonely many, many, many times. And, it's that loneliness where even if you're surrounded by a lot of people in the room, you can feel lonely inside because you feel like you're not seen or you're not understood, or it's like you're drained because you feel like you tried so hard to prove so much that you are so worth it, and you constantly do it, sometimes even in a room with in conversations. You overshow, you overdo, you overhelp other people, that at the end of the day you're drained because you feel alone. Who is over telling you things? Who is over praising you? Who is over helping you? No one, because you don't allow anyone to do that for you. And so your nervous system goes into a draining mode that is just like spiraling you down at point. So if we talk about just confidence, just to take a step back, because for me it's one way to, if you bring back your confidence, it's one way to fight a bit that survival mode. Confidence for me isn't about achievements, okay? It's not about having everything figured out. In fact, confidence for me is really an energy. It's the energy of self-trust. It's the energy of being grounded in your body. of not needing to over-explain, over-perform, or prove your worth. Confidence doesn't mean that fear disappears. It means that your nervous system feels safe and safe enough for you to respond instead of react. I'll say it again. Confidence doesn't mean that fear disappears. Confidence means your nervous system feels safe enough for you to respond instead of react. When we react to something, we are like defensive. We like, or we can have impulsivity, compulsive action and behavior. When we respond, we can take the time to respond. We can take the time to come back to someone. We can take the time to frame our answer. It's fine. We will respond. We will take the time to respond to the situation according to whatever we want, whatever we think, whatever reflection we may have. It's really coming from conscious choice made with awareness. While, as I said before, when you're reacting, it's really an automatic and impulsive response driven by your emotion or your survival mode. So it's like you're fast, like you're like really, it's emotion-led response. You're coming with fear, anger, anxiety, like you're really protective of your answer. So now that we saw what survival mode was, what confidence is, the question is, can we really fully heal from survival mode? And I'm going to give you my honest response on that based on my own personal experience. Now, I need to tell you something, and I always say that in my coaching and in any speak and talks that I do. I think nobody has the answer on anything. Nobody's perfect. I think we are all trying our best. And I would never tell anyone that my answers and my views of the world or a topic are the right ones and that's it, period. I would never say that. And I would never fully trust someone's opinion, like to the point where I'm like, oh, that person is 100% right. Because I think, and that's what we discuss in NLP too, you always have nuances. Everyone has a unique perception of the world, and sometimes you can feel that this or that direction or decision or opinion is aligned with you and it makes sense, but you can never close a door to the opportunity to expand your mind and your reality and your perception or opinion over a topic to something else. Maybe today I will tell you this looks black. Maybe tomorrow I will see, oh, in fact, I'm seeing now some gray patterns in that black thing. So maybe now I think it's grayish. And maybe in 10 days I will tell you, oh, that looks, in fact, no. That looks blue, navy blue, not gray, not black, that looks blue. So you can always have different perception, and that's what I always want to say. So coming back to, can we fully heal from survival mode? My personal response to that and opinion is that it's a pattern that never disappear completely, fully, 100%. And that's completely okay. If I take again my personal story, sometimes I still notice this pattern coming back. I still notice moments where my strong one identity or strong one instinct shows up. The difference now is that I am aware of it. I'm completely conscious that I have this thought, that I have this energy, and this awareness can help me have a choice. Okay? So I think healing is not about erasing who you were, erasing that identity where you felt comfortable at some point. For me, I see really healing about learning to respond differently to the world with all the different tools that you accumulate. Okay, so it's really about learning to respond differently when those survival mode patterns appear, for example. So, no, I haven't completely erased that mindset. Can that happen? Yes or no? I don't have the answer for you, and I really think it depends on each cases. I like to think that the mind can always be rewired, can be hacked, can be transformed, and for some people it will be easier than others. I think everyone has a different type of reaction towards healing, towards change, and everyone has a different brain as well. So my brain is different than yours. Maybe you will completely erase one identity and come to another one. I don't see it like that. I see it more as like, no, I don't have that survival mode identity anymore, but yes, it is still part of me inside. And sometimes some thought can come back whenever I have to spend money. I can think again like just I was before, just I used to be, like I can come with a reactive way of, oh my God, no, I don't want to spend that much money on that, because what if I need that money for the what if consequence that still doesn't exist yet. The thing is, now when that thought come up, I'm like, oh, interesting. Welcome, dear thought. You're here. I see you. I hear you. But today, I decide not to use you. I will spend that money. I'm fine with it. I'm safe with it. I'm feeling confident with it, because I've learned over time that this thought is just thought, and I can do whatever I want with it. I can decide not to listen to it and go on with my life, and everything will be fine. And if there are consequences later on, I know that I will always find ways, because I always did. And so by bringing awareness and really like recognize the pattern, you can decide to fully change the direction of your reaction and decisions. So you can definitely reduce the survival mode instead of fighting it. And the first step, as I just said, is really awareness, learning to notice when you're acting from urgency, from control, from fear, but without judging yourself. That's where the awareness arises. The second step is regulation. It's really slowing your body down so your nervous system can feel safe again. It can be as simple as pausing before responding to someone, giving an answer. It can be as simple as really breathing more deeply, taking some 3 deep breaths before taking a decision or before going somewhere. It can be like just stepping away from a situation for a moment, telling someone, excuse me, I need 5 minutes. I need a bit of time. Let me come back to you on that. Leave it with me. I just need a bit of time. And the third step to really reduce that survival mode pattern is choice. It's really asking yourself, what would I do right now if I felt safe instead of pressured? And even the smallest shift in response start to rewire your system. Really believe into that. Sometimes people in coaching can tell me like, oh my God, but that seems so simple, Mel. Maybe I need something like bigger and like, a bigger thing to shift my brain. Maybe I need something else, like someone to shake me. And I'm like, no. The only thing you need is just to rewire your brain to feel safe. You need your brain to feel safe, because currently your brain thinks that you are in constant danger. So it's like constantly on alert. You have a guard in front of you all the time. And that's also why sometimes some people have issues attracting the right relationships to them, because they have that energy that reflects that survival mode. They have the energy of the strong person who has everything by herself and it's fine and she's fine and she doesn't need anyone. And so I'm saying she, but the survival mode pattern is for men and women and really anyone. It really touches anyone. So if you can try to teach your brain to feel safer with this framework, which is again like bringing awareness first thing, bringing regulation, so really slowing your body down or doing some movement, it's really like telling your nervous system, I need to slow down, or I need to pause, or I need to breathe, or I need to move before taking any decision. And then really knowing that you have a choice, the choice to ask yourself, what do I really want to do? Like, what would I do right now if I felt safe instead of pressured? Just doing this little framework of with 3 simple, very, very simple steps, you can already start to see some shifts happening in your brain and in your response. And I was talking about movement just now because movement is such a powerful tool, and I love to use it in coaching too, because I think people in therapy, for example, and it's not to point the finger at anyone, but people can think just about the mind and the mindset. You need to work on the mindset, and when you change your mindset, you can change your life. I don't agree with that. I think body and mind are connected, based on my personal experience, but also like all the people I've coached so far, all my clients, we've seen a lot of transformation when they would connect the mind and the body. And from all the people I'm meeting here in Australia, on the other side of the world, from so many people from so many different cultures who make sure that they bring movement into their routine and they connect the body and the mind whenever they are trying to transform their life and change. Because survival lies in the nervous system and not just in the mind. And when you bring movement like walking, stretching, strength training, boxing, running, whatever, slow intentional movement, even yoga, whatever you want, movement, when you just move your body, you can also just dance in your kitchen, okay? That will help you release stored tension and will teach your body that it is safe again. So it's really to just feel yourself, be present with yourself. You are telling your body that you're taking care of yourself, and you're telling your body that you're safe. Just by moving it, you change. First of all, you shift a bit the pattern you may be in. Like if you're in a stress mode, and suddenly I tell you, okay, you're stressed, just go take a deep breath in, but go for a 10-minute walk. You'll see that it will shift completely what's going on in your brain. You will reduce the stress. Cortisol will go down. You won't feel like in danger as much. And for me, movement became really a way to come back to my body at so many times, like every day. It's really a way to come back into my body, to feel grounded and present. So again, like if you bring movement into your daily life, and I'm talking about daily life, we are made to move, okay? You have legs and arms, and if you are able to move. I think that's the only thing I can say. Even if you're sitting and you want to just move your upper body by doing some movements, like you can move your shoulders. I'm doing it right now just by talking to you and recording this podcast sitting. You move your shoulders, you move your head, you do some round with your head and your neck. You will see that your nervous system will just be reminded that you are safe, you're here, you can choose, you can take your time to choose and to take a decision. So if I wrap up with this podcast that has been now more than 30 minutes, so I'm going to wrap up now. But being strong helped you survive so far for all these years, and that deserves respect, yes. But you don't have to live there forever. True confidence isn't about carrying everything alone. It's about creating safety inside yourself, allowing support, and choosing a different way of showing up. And that's where real freedom begins. So if you want to start choosing from now on, lower your stress and start to enjoy your life fully, make decisions that are aligned with what you really deeply want, you definitely can. I hope you take care, and I hope you enjoy. Or I hope you enjoyed, and then I hope you take care. Thank you for listening to Fly with Mel. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, share, and leave a review. It will really, really help me to reach more people who need to hear these messages. And remember, the power to change your story is already in you.